Hello and welcome back to the video on the rest of the way and to another edition of NXT Out of 10. And yeah, it's a big episode of NXT Out of 10 because of course we've got the mini pay-per-view coming up next week. And yeah, that's looking like a big show with Bron Breakker, Joe Gacy, plenty of other matches as well. But yeah, on this week's NXT we've got a big show including lots of some debuts as well. So moving on then to Nikita Lyons and Lash Legend, who kicks off the match. The match started right away and Lyons got some big moves in but was tossed out the ring by Legend. Lyons then tried to climb on the back but was dropped on the apron as the match continued. Legend then tossed Nikita into the steel sets before getting near fall in the ring with a sidewalk slam. Lyons then got some big kicks off before getting a huge German suplex and sending Legend into the corner. The latter tried for a powerbomb but Nikita countered it into Hurricane Run before picking up the win with a 450 roundhouse kick. After the match, Natty rushed the ring and attacked Lyons. Corey Jake came out to make a save as she and Lyons managed to beat up Legend and Natty and sent them running. Later we returned and the tag team match was made official for next week. I mean, like, yeah, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. I mean, like, it kind of is elevated by Natty, but still, I just feel like we've seen them in the ring the same match, and it just doesn't really work for me. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Roderick Strong was talking to Diamond Mine backstage and said that the group had to be ready for anything, and for that he picked a world-class tag team to face them next week. The team in question turned out to be the Viking Raiders, and they have a match tonight on NXT. Before we got Von Wagner versus Tony D'Angelo. Wagner was in control of the match early on and got a big suplex, taking D'Angelo to the ropes. Tony then sent Wagner outside, but the latter dropped the Don on the apron with a big side slam. D'Angelo went to the outside of the ring, and Legado del Fantasma showed up to interfere in the match. Wild and Del Toro attacked D'Angelo, but the Don had his own gangsters to even the odds. D'Angelo then beat the count and headed back to the ring, but took a big boot from Wagner, who picked up the win. Yeah, to be honest, this gets a 6 out of 10. I know there were distractions and stuff like that, but I mean, like, still, Von Wagner picking up the win, it's a big win for him. But I mean, like, Tony D'Angelo, I thought he'd get a big push after the Ciampa victory at TakeOver, and it just hasn't really happened. So yeah, 6 out of 10. Roxy was backstage talking about Hartwell and Perotta in her debut match last week. Our attraction then showed up and trash talked her before saying she was in a match with Mandy later. Andre Chase and Bailey Hayward were out next, and the newcomer Nathan Fraser was making his entrance when Grayson Waller decided to crash her debut. Waller trashed Chase, Yu and Fraser in the ring before Nathan came out of nowhere with a missile dropkick and took him down before hitting a dive to the outside. Andre Chase talked about it being a teachable moment before NXT moved on. And yeah, good little debut for Ben Carter. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes, because I think he could be in for big things. Waller and Stratton were backstage and seems to be getting along well before we got Caden Carter and Katana Chance versus Lion and Ferros. Leon and Ferros were in control early on, but Carter managed to take Ferros down and take the tag. Ferros was then locked in a submission when Caden tagged back in but managed to fight out of it. Carter lifted Ferros and dragged her to the corner where Chance hit a splash on her as the match continued. Leon then hit a big top rope move and isolated Carter before Chance was taken off the apron. Carter was then struck in the ring alone, but Chance managed to get back on the apron and sneak in the tag before turning things around. Chase and Carter hit the 450 splash combo to pick up the victory. Yeah, I mean, like, this was an okay match from start to finish. There's nothing really wrong with it. But yeah, it just kind of felt like that, to be honest. So yeah, it is going to get 5 out of 10 from me. Brooks and Jensen were attacked backstage, and Briggs was furious before going off to look for who did it, and he was suddenly in a match together with Fallon Henry against Legado del Fantasma. Legado made their entrance when Briggs attacked them. Henry and Electra kicked things off, and it was 3-on-2 with Jensen out of action. Briggs and Henry were dominating early on, but Legado managed to isolate Briggs. Stone came out to the announce desk and hinted at the fact of Von Wagner, who took out Jensen earlier. Henry was back in and took Leon Lopez for a near fall before tags were made. Briggs then hit a missile dropkick before Wild Del Toro came in and picked up the double sweeping leg switch to get the victory. Gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Decent enough match, and of course gives the losers an excuse as well. So yeah, backstage Natalia said that she was going to beat Corey Jade's legs next week. Very pleasant. Solo Sikoa then took on Trick Williams. Grimes was on commentary as the match began, and Williams had control in the ring early on. Solo took out Trick with a shoulder tackle before getting a spinning neck breaker. Williams then had the submission locked in and tried to keep Sikoa on the mat, but he fought out of it and got some big strikes in. Trick took some big suplexes before the frog splash and allowing him to pick up the easy win. After the match, Grimes and Hayes got into the ring with Sikoa before he took out the champ with a strike, and Carmelo made a run for it. I mean, like, yeah, they get 6 out of 10 for me. I mean, like, I kind of feel sorry for Trick because I thought he was going to get a push now, but good one for Sikoa. So yeah, goes and swings and roundabout. Nofi and Blade versus the Viking Raiders out next. I reckon Ivar made her NXT return ahead of spring break, and the Vikings took some big drop kicks from Inofi before Blade was tagged in. Eric White Blade out with a tackle before Ivar demolished Inofi with elbows in the corner. Eric was back in and hit a knee to the face of Inofi for a near fall. Viking was in control and hit Manic Blade with their combined powerbomb finisher, picking up the victory. This was good stuff. Gets a 7 out of 10 for me. Just a simple win to re-establish themselves ahead of next week, and it's really great to see the Viking Raiders back in NXT, and just doing what they could at. Good stuff, 7 out of 10. Escobar and D'Angelo then threatened each other via backstage promos before the Don introduced us to the Goo Master from earlier, Tony Donovan and Stacks. As I said about Tony D'Angelo, really, he's kind of losing a bit of credibility, but this was alright. Before we got Roxanne Perez versus Mandy Rose. Rose took Perez to the corner as the match began before the champ was nearly rolled up. Perez took another quick roll up as the match went on, then a third and a fourth. Mandy started to get frustrated and grabbed Perez by the face, but Roxanne bit her finger. The match went outside and Perez drove Rose's injured fingers into the ring step. After a break on NXT, Rose was back in control and got some big moves in, but Perez recovered and got some more near falls. Rose then came back with a knee strike and picked up the win. Wendy Chu then came out after the match and Toxic Attraction ran out to the ramp. Chu triggered a net fall on Toxic Attraction before Perez and Chu ran up, spraying them with silly string. It gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Good to see Mandy get the win, but it's a bit dumb for me to put Roxy in such a big match in her second week. Not because she's not good enough for it, but because, I just don't think she should have taken a loss, especially as he's come in as this big new star, to be honest. Gacy was out next and said that he was moulding NXT into a place of acceptance. Gacy noticed that not everyone agreed with his view, and the spring break and the naysayers will have no choice but to fall in line with his ideas. He said that he would take the titles and the show would become fearsome. Rick Steiner then came out to the ring to talk to Gacy, but a crowd of hooded individuals surrounded the ring. Baker rushed in and started clearing the ring before Gacy ran out and took out Baker. The hooded characters handed Gacy the NXT title and Baker went down and Gacy posed in it as the show went off the air. Joe Gacy, the new Fiend. This was very weird. Good to see Rick Steiner, but I'm not massively into this. It's just a bit off for me, to be honest. But overall this week, NXT gets a 5 out of 10 from me. NXT for me, it's a bit of a down week this week. Not too much going on, quite a lot of filler. And just stuff that I'm not really into. If you compare it to Raw from the other night, it was just night and day really in Raw's favour. NXT for me, a bit off this week. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, any thoughts, comments down range, follow us on Twitter, link description for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to my channel on Instagram. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.